Tangi aroha tēnei kia koutou e kui koroma e. Hanei o koutou mokopuna koutou nei rungi a Waitangi ki te arihi anō ngā kaupapa i timata ai a koutou i ngā rā ki muri e. Waka wai wai ana.
The neighbourhood around the new Waitangi Park has been foreshore, lagoon and would-be dockyard. It has been razed by earthquake, reclaimed, used for heavy industry, then a bus terminal, and in recent years lay fallow as an urban wasteland. Its stories are those of a changing city and are told in the park's design. The earliest story we know of is its importance to Te Ātiawa.
It's where the Waitangi stream runs under the Basin Reserve and through Cambridge Kent Terrace. And there was a lagoon by the sea, and it was an eeling place. It was where the eels came to breed and migrate, and so it was a terrific food source.
One of the defining structural elements within the park and part of its developed character is the bringing of the stream back up to the surface. From the subsurface wetland, the water is pumped through a UV filter, which then brings it out into the stream just over here, and then gets stored in the Graving Dock Pond. And then we collect enough water to irrigate the whole park.
For Māori, the very important thing is the water carries the mauri, in other words, the life force.
All of the plants within it were collected from little ecological remnants around Wellington's coastline. So this is a new seed stock of these plants brought back into Wellington.
John Hardwick Smith is co-designer of the park with Megan Raitt.
In the case of the water treatment here, for example, it was I guess on one level it's an ecological solution, which I think is very important, but on another level it's a response to a cultural history in terms of the old Waitangi Lagoon. I think all those layers together are very important.
A key factor for the designers is its inherent features.
This is one of the windiest places on the site.
And they have celebrated that aspect.
So really one of the key things here was to develop a part of the landscape that celebrated the wind, since it's a great part of the site, but also made some spaces that provided some shelter.
A key factor for the park design was social sustainability, making it work for a wide range of people who might use it.
Any flat green space available in Wellington is taken up with sports fields, so we felt that was a really important component that was required. The activities, which we've clustered around this zone called the activity zone around the edge, we knew that the design had to cope with those changing over time as well.
The former wasteland had become a hangout for the city's nomadic skateboarders.
I think the skateboarding is a really interesting part of the park. It's been one of the places of this activity zone that's consistently had activity, through lots of different weathers, through different times of day and night. We see very young people having a go. There are all ranges of age groups. There are spectators that do stop on their promenade and do engage with the idea of skateboarding.
Commentators affirm the thoughtful design being a key factor in the park's success.
I think the testament to its success is how well it's used during the weekend and any other time. And I know it's enormously popular both for everyday events and also people wishing to run major things in the city.
The artistic director of the recent International Festival of the Arts placed the park at the centre of events.
The festival used Waitangi Park this last year because it wanted to create kind of a focal point, a heart to the festival, a soul, and a place where everybody could come at any time of the day or night and there would be something that was on. And the only place we could do that was Waitangi Park.
The master plan for Waitangi Park identified the opportunity for some supporting buildings around the park to provide other alternative activities, sheltered activities. We know it's a very exposed site, so on those occasions where you turn up and the weather's not quite like you had planned, there's an opportunity to do something without having to leave the area.
Waitangi Park now connects the city's two main promenades, Oriental Parade to the downtown waterfront.
Already there's a major promenade right around the waterfront. To connect up the promenades and to keep the circulation working was really a key thing.
The park is the heart of what is known as the Waitangi Precinct. As well as its ecologically sustainable design, its popularity as a public space is part of a plan of mutually sustainable developments for the area. The park makes the 64 apartments at Schaefer's Dock more attractive. The apartment residents make the ground floor cafes and retail more sustainable, and help finance current and future public space development.
We've run an international architecture competition to try and do something quite special with this site. If you're going to do something special with architecture in Wellington, why not the waterfront? It's a vibrant place, it's a mix of experience. We've got heritage buildings and new buildings, we've got fantastic open spaces.
There are several development sites adjacent to the park which have exciting futures. Schaefer's Dock Apartments, which have a frontage onto the long-established marina and onto the park. What has been the overseas passenger terminal, which will have public use on the ground floor and residential on the upper floor. The area between it, the park and Schaefer's Dock, and the area between Te Papa and the park. The developments will bring people to the area, day and night, animating the precinct and offering natural surveillance. A new neighbourhood is being created, with critical mass provided by the combination of residents, public enterprises and park, the live-work-play matrix of the Waterfronts plan. John Wardle's design won for the area between the terminal, the park and Schaefer's Dock.
But really the theme to it all is a series of buildings that will suggest and excite social activity. A series of objects that almost look as if they appear to be sculpted by the wind and the maritime climate.
There has long been a view that the somewhat forbidding face of Te Papa might be softened by a building which goes down into the park. The design of UN Studio of the Netherlands proposes a full art gallery.
The buildings certainly challenged our understanding of architecture in terms of sculptural buildings. No longer are we thinking about the building in terms of its function and use, but we're starting to appreciate the building as a sculptural object as well. So that's really broadened our eyes, and also the public. The public received the results of the competition really, really well, and we're really excited about it.
The park is the largest urban space to be developed in this country in the last century. Its impact has been considerable.
It's had a fantastic response, and I think the way the Arts Festival was here when it opened, and the crowds, I mean, it was just amazing to me how well received it was and how well it worked.
It was incredible to see the dome in Waitangi Park and then to see 10,000 people listening to Fat Freddy's drop. It was kind of taken over by Wellingtonians.
And the public seems to agree, literally voting with their feet. The site will evolve the way it always has.
I think it's only going to get more exciting as redundant buildings like the overseas passenger terminal are rejuvenated and hundreds, if not thousands of people are re-injected into the waterfront, because people like having other people around. It creates a sense of vibrancy, it creates a sense of belonging, and it creates a sense of excitement.
The activities in terms of berthage of vessels and the public opportunities to promenade around and fish, all those great things that are really special about the overseas terminal will be retained. So we think it's a nice balance.
I think it'll be quite different, and I think it'll be quite different 10 years later too. I mean, I hope that's the case, because I hope the structure that's in place here is really a canvas, if you like, for Wellington to kind of use it and develop it.
But the boulders will always be there.
It's always good to bring those stones, those kohatu from Taranaki, to show the connection, to show the relationship and the whakapapa links. And we became almost invisible, and if you came into Wellington as a visitor, you wouldn't be aware of the rich Māori history of the area. You could be forgiven for thinking Māori were never living here, but in fact we were.